I never thought I would see him again. Not in the crowded streets of New York. Not in a life that had moved on without him. And yet, here he was jogging past me in Central Park, just as effortless, just as devastatingly beautiful as he had been 3 years ago. My heart almost stopped. My coffee nearly went down the wrong way, and I realized that time had not softened the impact he had on might had only made it sharper. "Hey, you look lost," he said. His voice, that unmistakable mix of warmth and amusement that had haunted my dreams for years. I laughed nervously, trying to play it cool, but my knees betrayed me. "Yeah, I'm, looking for the path, I guess." He smirked, slowing his pace until he was standing in front of me, hands on his hips. The sun was just rising, painting the park in shades of gold and pink, and it felt like the world had staged this moment just for us. His eyes scanned me, curious, teasing, yet somehow soft, as if he had known me all my life. "You always were bad with directions," he said lightly, a memory sparkling behind his gaze. That casual remark, delivered with effortless charm, hit me harder than anything else. The same mischievous tone I remembered, the same laugh that had haunted my lonely nights. I didn't expect to run into you," I admitted, my voice barely above a whisper. The words were true, though inadequate. 3 years, and I had imagined this encounter hundreds of times, each scenario more dramatic than the last. But reality had a way of being both more terrifying and more magical than I could have dreamed. He tilted his head, studying me, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his lips. "Well, life's funny that way, isn't it?" I wanted to reach out, to close the distance between us, but my body refused to obey. My chest tightened, every nerve alive, and I suddenly remembered why letting him go had been the hardest thing I ever did. He had been my first love, the kind that left a permanent mark, the kind that made the world feel brighter even in its darkest moments. And now he was here, tangible, real, standing in front of me with the same heart-stopping presence that had once shattered me. "Do you run often?" I asked, my attempt at casual conversation faltering under the weight of seeing him again. "Every morning," he replied, his smile widening. "I'm a running coach now, for a few clients around the city." His gaze lingered on me a second longer than necessary, and I felt that magnetic pull, that undeniable connection we had always shared, tug at my heart. "You?" he asked. "Do you run?" I laughed awkwardly. "Not really. I usually just walk around, pretending I know what I'm doing." He chuckled, a sound that wrapped around me like sunlight. "Then maybe I should train you." My stomach flipped. My mind screamed, but my heart had already answered. "I think I'd like that." He extended his hand, and I hesitated just a second before taking it. The warmth of his grip, the electricity of the touch, made my knees weak. It was intimate, but innocent, yet loaded with a tension I could almost taste. 3 years of longing condensed into a single heartbeat. "You always did have a way of showing up at the wrong times," he said softly, his voice now closer, almost brushing against my ear. The playful tease carried a hint of something deeper, something he hadn't said but that I could feel. Recognition, desire, and maybe even forgiveness. We began running together, slowly, side by side, the city waking up around us. Every step felt like a dance, every glance like a conversation we had never finished. He pointed out the routes, corrected my posture, and I found myself hanging on his every word, every movement, every subtle brush of skin. The sun rose higher, painting everything in soft gold, but nothing shone brighter than the closeness between us. 3 years had passed, yet the memory of him lingered in every heartbeat, every whispered thought. And now, as we ran together, I realized something I had tried to deny for far too long. Letting him go had been a mistake, but finding him again, finding him here, now was a miracle I wasn't going to waste. I caught a whiff of his cologne as we slowed to a jog, the scent pulling me back to nights we had shared before, dreams we had dared not speak aloud. "I've missed this," I admitted, my voice shaky but sincere. His eyes softened, and he reached out, brushing a stray strand of hair from my forehead. Me too, he said simply, and it was enough. Enough to ignite hope. Enough to mend old wounds. Enough to remind me that some loves were worth waiting for, worth chasing, worth waking up for at dawn. We ran through the park until the city hummed awake around us, the early morning light washing everything in soft gold. My lungs burned, my legs ached, but none of it mattered because he was there, right next to me, and every step felt like a heartbeat syncing with his. The years of absence melted away with each stride, leaving only the present, raw and electric. Faster, he urged, his voice low and teasing. Come on, you can do it. I pushed myself, not just for the exercise, but because every glance he gave, every smile he threw my way was fuel. The memory of our separation, of all the nights I'd cried wondering what could have been, was replaced by the warmth of his hand brushing mine when he adjusted my pace, the brush so casual, yet intimate enough to send shivers down my spine. At one point, I stumbled, my foot catching on a stray root. He was instantly there, steadying me with his hand around my waist. Our eyes met, and for a moment the world paused. I could see everything in his gaze: concern, relief, a teasing sparkle, and something deeper, a love that had lingered even through years apart. You okay? He asked, voice soft now, a stark contrast to the teasing earlier. I nodded, though I wanted to say more than just, okay. I wanted to tell him that every day without him had been incomplete, that the memory of him had haunted me in ways words couldn't describe. But instead, I smiled, letting my heart speak in silence. He helped me back to a steady jog, and I noticed how natural it felt to be close again. To share this rhythm, this breath, this heartbeat. I realized that despite the time, despite the distance, we still fit together perfectly. Later, as we slowed down near the edge of the park, the skyline gleaming behind him, he looked at me with that signature half-smile that could undo me in an instant. You know, he said casually, though I could hear the weight behind it, I never stopped thinking about you. Not once. I froze. My chest tightened, and I could feel tears prickling the corners of my eyes. The admission, simple as it was, carried years of longing, of love unspoken. Neither did I whispered, the words trembling. Every morning, every night, I remembered you. His hand reached up to my face, brushing my cheek gently, thumb tracing the line of my jaw. It was tender, deliberate, and intimated, a silent confession, a bridge over the years of silence. I leaned into his touch, letting the warmth and familiarity wash over me. I was afraid, he admitted, voice low. Afraid that I'd lost you forever. You didn't, I said, my own voice breaking slightly. You found me again. We stood there, close, letting the morning light surround us, letting the city wake up around our quiet intimacy. And then, slowly, naturally, our lips met. It was a kiss full of years of memories, of regrets, of hope, and of a future we were suddenly ready to claim together. It wasn't rushed. It was patient, deliberate, as if both of us knew that the right moment had finally arrived. When we pulled back, breathless, we laughed softly, a mix of disbelief and relief. You're unbelievable, I said, still holding on to his hand. And you're finally admitting I'm right? He teased, though his eyes softened into something warmer, more vulnerable. Come on, let's finish this run. I want to see you conquer more than just the park. We jogged together, the rhythm of our steps echoing the rhythm of our hearts. And in that simple act, in the shared sweat, in the gentle touches and teasing glances, I realized that love could be patient, persistent, and forgiving. That sometimes losing someone didn't mean the end, it just meant the story wasn't over yet. By the time we stopped near the river, the sun fully risen and the city alive with energy, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't known in years. He looked at me, hand still in mine, eyes sparkling with warmth and mischief. So, breakfast? He asked, the question playful but the underlying meaning clear. Absolutely, I said, heart light, soul full. And as we walked side by side toward the cafe, laughing over trivial jokes, sharing quiet touches, I knew that this was only the beginning. For the first time in years, the past didn't hurt. For the first time in years, I was awake, alive, and utterly in love with the man I had lost, found, and would never let go again. Because some loves, the kind that mark your first, your deepest, your truest, are never truly gone. They just wait for a sunrise, for a second chance, for a running path in Central Park, and for the courage to wake up, to run, and to finally hold on. And as we disappeared into the bustling morning of New York City, hand in hand, I knew that waking up early, facing the world, and chasing the sun had never felt so right or so full of love. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.